pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Just a couple announcements. Based on this, I'd like to announce the following individuals were previously approved for this year's school year to serve as election inspectors. That's Marjorie Taylor, Chief Inspector, Sheila Bullock, Richard Callan, Ruth Callan, Ken Davis, Alex Hance, Richard Harmer, Don Mulaney, Doris Smith, Jerry French, Margie Davis, and Iris Thomas. There are two Board of Education candidates for the seat of Mr. Reggie LaPointe. Candidate LaPointe, next to me. And for the seat of Mrs. Teresa Vogel, we have two candidates, Ms. Stacia Cronider, Ms. Diane Scott. We have some presentations for you on the school district budget. And I'm not sure who wants to start, but are you ready? Thank you. Ms. Kelly.
Becky and I will be switching on and off, sorry about that, with the budget presentation. This is obviously our 14-15 budget presentation. Our first slide shows us basically what was approved for last year. That's what we are working under currently. What's proposed for 14-15, $12,665,177. The difference is $373,309 of an increase. The tax increase is 2.77 for a total amount of $69,856. The salary increases for the staff, which is based upon the current contract, which is 212 to 215. For the Teachers Association, it's 2.5, and for the SCA, it's 3.25. What Becky and I will do, we're going to be switching on and off on pages. If you have any questions, we'll stop at the end of each page, and if anybody just wants to raise their hand, if there aren't any, then we'll just swap and move to our next page. Any questions yet?
The administrative budget is all of your admin to run the school. It's your Board of Education, their supplies, superintendent and secretary, the business office, your high school office, your administrative, also the BOCES administrative. It also includes all the corresponding benefits. The main increases were contractual this year. That means salary. We also had health insurance increase 7%. We had the BOCES admin increase 29,000. That was partly due to our WADA, and our WADA increased slightly. But they also had a lot of retirees, which is included in their admin budget. That's divided among the 18 school districts. There is one change that I did make this year. In the past, the administrative raises were not included in the budget. That means at the beginning of the year, when the board would vote on the raises, we would have to increase the lines. Now, with contracts and benefit agreements in place, I felt it was time to actually reflect what they're getting paid next year. So there was a larger increase than what is really happening next year. Any questions on the admin?
Okay, the second component of the budget is called the program. And that deals with any and everything that deals with students, education, and performing duties for students, which we'll get into. It shows the corresponding benefits, and by that, the people I'm referring to are the teachers, With that falls all of our computers, our electronics, our special ed program, our CSE chair, our athletics, our athletic director, our extracurricular, which are like class advisors, sports coaches, those types of things. Transportation, which is all the busing that goes with it, as well as the salaries, the training, professional development, again, that goes for teachers, teachers' assistants, cafeteria workers, the bus garage, bus drivers, and even the maintenance and clerical staff. And the last falls under recreation, which is our summer youth program. Under those separate areas, and I'll just go through what each of them quickly are made up of. For teaching in regular school, you can see what was proposed for this current school year, what's proposed for next school year. The teaching has to do with all the high school and elementary teaching positions, staff positions, TAs, and anybody associated under that. Special education is all of our CSE, the secretary that falls under there, the materials, the supplies, all the postage and letters that go out, mailed out from there. Occupational education are the teachers we have in this particular building for the tech and also the ag programs, and some of the ag programs that we do after school and those types of things. The special services, and you can see there's a decrease in that. That is where currently it used to have the band, marching band. One element that's remaining under there is driver's education, which we will be having again next year. The instructional media is anything that has to do with the librarian herself, and the library assistant who works in there. Computer instruction has to do more with the hardware, software, and the computers within the building. And we currently hire out 4 computer services through BOCES. Our pupil transportation, our pupil services, has to do with all of the salaries and for teaching for staff that fall under those. The health services, again, come from our school nurse, psychologist, and CSE fall under that for salaries. Co-curricular activities are all the coaches, all the advisors, their salaries, their funds. Pupil transportation, obviously a huge area, is all of the bus drivers, all of the bus monitors, all of the different things that fall under that. Any of the equipment, which falls under bus garage for repair of buses, the hoist, the lifts, the actual tools. Our community service is the summer program that we give to each of the towns, $2,000 for the summer rec. And then you get the subtotal of that. And you can see again that we've increased slightly from this year to next year. Questions about any particular one of those categories?
The capital component is the cost of running the building. It also includes most utilities, your electricity, your fuel, your wood chips. Some of that is allocated to the pupil transportation because we do get aid on a portion of it. It also includes the corresponding benefits and the debt service, which is what we pay for our capital projects, when we bond for buses. That also is a revenue driver. We get revenue to offset that. And it also includes transfers to our cafeteria fund. In the central services operation, that includes some salaries mainly, and your wood chips, fuel, electricity. The wood chips, by switching to wood chips, John Daniels had presented earlier last meeting, and he is estimating saving between $198,000 and $200,000 this year. So that's $200,000 less than what it would be had we not done that project. The capital service maintenance is more maintenance of the building. The benefits, as you can see, it did increase our mainly health insurance. Debt service increased due to the buses that we're bonding for. Again, our revenue went up because of it. And the interfund transfers stayed the same. Revenue, as you can see, increased. We actually had a pretty decent year for revenue compared to last year. Our other revenues didn't increase much. We did decrease our fund balance appropriation. We are, the board and administrative are trying to preserve our fund balance as long as possible. also the tax levy increase, 2.77%, which is our tax cap. Now, with that tax cap, there is a tax freeze program going on with New York State, meaning that 2.77% will be returned to the taxpayers. What that means for most people is maybe $10 to $20, some $5, depending if you have STAR. So it's not a real lot of savings. The governor's way of trying to keep taxes low. It's actually probably costing more in their administrative cost to administer the checks than if they had given us the money. Any questions?
Okay, this is what the sample ballot is going to look like, and you'll see that on a slide, and I'll pass it around. One of the things we did this year, obviously it's on a big sheet of paper, we decided not to put anything on the back, because people in the past have forgotten to turn it over. So I'll pass it, you can hand it around, and I'll explain what that's made up of. The first proposition on the ballot is to purchase 3 school buses. 2 of those school buses are 72 passengers, one is a 30 passenger. We get approximately 90% aid on those types of things. The only type of transportation aid that we receive on trips is usually educational. Our sports trips, some of our field trips, marching band, we do not get any aid on that, so it's full cost to the district. With the proposition and purchasing 3 buses, we also want to trade 3 buses. And 2 of the buses we want to trade are 72 passengers, one is a 30. And we're continuing to get larger buses. Some of you may be aware this year we had to add another bus run because we had approximately 15 children move into the Edwards area. So we had to shuffle people around because the buses were kind of full. We had started to decrease back to 65 passenger buses. It's not going to work. Some people move in not at the same rates in different areas. So that is our proposition on the buses. It'll be bonded at $290,000. Questions? Buses. The next section on the ballot, there's 2 Board of Ed seats open. One belongs to Teresa Vogel, the other is Reggie LaPointe. Currently, well, not currently, we do have, for Reggie's seat, Mr. LaPointe is running again. For the 5-year seat of Teresa Vogel, Stacia Cronizer and Diane Scott is running. And this is what the budget looks like. It shows you each of the sections. The first part is actually the budget. $12,665,177. Yes or no, you agree with it, you put an X, move to the next section. This is the proposition for the buses. It kind of explains what we want, where, the reasons why, again, a yes or a no. And then this is board seats. You choose one of the 2. Reggie's running unopposed. And this kind of explains the directions. You can put an X or a check. Obviously, if you make any or something, they let you erase it. Ours are still hand counted, hand tallied here, so we're a little bit different. We don't have to worry about machine error. But again, it helps the counters if they're pretty clear. Any questions on the ballot? Okay. Thank you. That is our budget presentation for this evening. If anybody has questions in general about the budget that you might have thought of after. Okay. Thank you. I tried to turn the lights back on.
If no one has any questions on the information that was presented, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn this meeting and to reconvene this meeting at 12 noon on Wednesday, May 20th. That's next Wednesday, 2014, for the purpose of voting on the proposed budget resolutions.
Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
I apologize. It's Tuesday, May 20th. Next Tuesday, starting at 12 noon, for the proposed budget resolutions for the 2014-2015 school year. Can I have a motion to adjourn this meeting? Jerry?
I'll second.
Lynn? Any questions or comments from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is passed. The meeting is adjourned at 6:47.
Okay, thank you very much.
So, now the regular business. Can I have a, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Board of Education at 6:48 p.m. As we've already stated for the pledge of allegiance, I think we can pass on that. We have everybody signed in for public participation. We're signed up for public participation.
But Linda's here and she requested to be on.
Okay. Okay. Linda?
Put it on this, so, hang on. I'm Linda Manchester, I'm the officer in charge of the Russell Post Office. I came today because I'd like to address the board in regards to the school's pending decision to change their mailing address to Herman instead of Russell. This would be a great detriment to the Russell Post Office and the surrounding communities in more than one way. When the address is changed, a meter machine, which we have in our office right now, records revenue for our office. This would have to be removed and replaced with one with the corresponding zip code that they would have the new address for Herman. In turn, this would create at least a 50% drop in revenue for the Russell Post Office. If this happens to our local post office, more than likely, I'm told that this would reduce our hours to 2 per day. And making it even more difficult for my customers to do business. This would also possibly down the road mean a closing of the post office if it comes to that point, because it just wouldn't make any sense for 2 hours. If this should happen, also certainly have a negative impact for the town taxpayers as well, since the loss of the building lease at the end result would likely turn into an increase in local taxes to make up for this loss, according to the town clerk, which I spoke to. A double hit for the residents, loss of their post office as well as increased taxes. What about the combined 2 schools, which was the original effort of everybody, you know? Do you want that all to be put aside and forgotten about? Everything would be then coming out of Herman instead of Edwards or Russell. I realize that during this time of trying times to save money, we sometimes don't realize what might happen down the line, so I just wanted to point all this out to everybody. Make sure you understand fully what you're doing before you do it. I also have been informed that in order to do this, it also needs to be approved through Albany before changing your address. So it has to be pre-approved before you go ahead and do all of this, so. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for taking the time to come up and present the information, Linda. We appreciate it.
Thank you. And it also, remember, it also involves the employees of the building as well, not only just the customers coming into the building. There are 4 employees in that office. It will affect all 4 of us, along with people in the community, which is what I'm mostly here for. It's already hard enough for them to do business in 4 hours. If this goes away, if this does happen, we might as well forget about the Russell Post Office, because I can guarantee in 2 to 3 years we will be gone. So, thank you again.
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 2014 meeting?
I'll second.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to accept the following warrants on file in the business office as reviewed and recommended?
Tom W.
Tom? Joe? Questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to accept the claims audit report dated May 7, 2014 on file in business office?
I'll move.
Carried.
I'll second.
Then? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Could I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report of March 31st, 2014? Jerry?
I'll second.
Joe? Any questions or comments? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to declare a deep fryer from the kitchen equipment as surplus to allow for its sale at auction?
I'll move.
Ben? Tom? Any questions or comments?
How are the other ones going to get on the auction?
The kiln and the pumps we are putting back up. We didn't get what we had expected from them. We did sell the table saw for $135, which we were hoping for $100.
Okay.
We do have to pay $15 in surcharge because we didn't meet the minimum, so we're getting $120 from them.
So what do we find out on the tank out there? We have to get that.
The tank clean.
We're splitting the cost with the person that bought it, of what it's gonna cost us to get it cleaned out and moved.
We'll still make a little bit.
We're still making money, but what we were told initially, and we made all the phone calls to check of what we had to do, and it was not what we were told. But the person that is purchasing it is splitting the difference.
Okay. Any other questions? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion is carried. Can I have a motion to approve the 2013 to 2015 LEP plan as presented on file in District Office? Terry?
I'll second.
Lynn? Any questions or comments?
Yes, what is that?
Limited English proficient, it's for any student that we have that doesn't necessarily speak English. We have to have a plan in place, even though we've never used one in many years. Even for our foreign exchange students, for the most part, we haven't had to bring in interpreters or any of those things. But we're required by law to update it annually and pass it through the board. So it's just new and improved.
Is it a highly revised plan, or kind of just check it off, make sure it's still functional?
It's totally revised.
Is it?
It's to meet all the new standards and regulations with everything changing. Which is why we brought it now instead of waiting until next year.
I had to ask tonight while I was reading it.
Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion is carried. Is there anything that we should talk about before we go into executive session?
Title IX.
What was that about?
We have our principals' reports and those. Do you want to do those?
Sure.